We are live in London, and I'm going to reflect on what has happened in the last few days, the events in Orlando, which affected the LGBT community. That's it, LGBTQ, some people say. They like to add the Q for queer. And I'm not a PC guy, forgive me if I get anything wrong or don't refer to people in the correct way. So, a mass shooting in London, in Orlando, sorry, yet again in America. And at first we thought, well, it's obviously a terrorist, a guy called Omar Mateen, Afghan Muslim, who apparently phoned up 20 minutes before he finished the massacre. He phoned the police and said that he pledged his allegiance to ISIS. And a lot of people have been debating whether this is a Islamophobic attack, is it a Islamist attack rather, is it a homophobic attack? And so what's the guy who walked off the TV?
Owen Jones.
Owen Jones walked out of an interview because he was adamant that it was a homophobic attack and it was an attack on the LGBT community only. And it now transpires that the guy Omar Mateen was apparently gay himself. Does that still make it a homophobic attack? Is it a case of self-hating gay person? He was a frequent visitor to the gay club, to Pulse. He may have gone in to take revenge on one of the guys he was with in there, maybe, I don't know. But I think we should talk a little bit about self-hatred and what it can do to an individual. How can it make you want to kill somebody? And recently I was in Ireland, I was in Belfast, and I took the Black Cab tour, and we went through the Republican areas and the Loyalist areas, and the cab driver told stories about how there were clashes in the 70s, how the army came and killed people in the street, and among all that mayhem there was of course sectarian violence as well, and a prolific group of killers were the Shankill Butchers, which refers to the Shankill Road, a very loyalist area where this gang, the Shankill Butchers, led by one Lenny Murphy, found and killed random Roman Catholics for no other reason other than their religious background. And he was a fanatical killer who would talk about Catholics as if they were animals. Apparently he had a virulent, passionate hatred for Catholic people. And people say the reason that he had this hatred was because his original name was Hugh Murphy. He went by the name Lenny Murphy, but Hugh Murphy, and Murphy particularly, is a very traditionally Catholic surname. So he grew up in a Protestant community, and his peers used to mock him and say, "Oh, your nanny and granddad must have been Catholic. You must be a Catholic. You've got a Catholic name." And it turned him into this monster that hated Catholic people, and he was part of them. I think they killed like 10 people, butchered them, and mutilated the bodies, and they became known as the Shankill Butchers. And I think that's part of this sort of self-hatred that people can have. If you get treated as something you hate, he probably was from a Catholic background, and he hated that reality. A lot of the most virulent Islamophobic people are people who have left Islam, and they will tell you about what a hard time they have. But I think it comes from, possibly, not in all cases, a hatred of that's what I was. Give me a water, come on, I'm going to die here. Come, we'll get a bottle. Yeah, I think that's a real issue. And also, people say, and I don't know if it's true, that Hitler had a Jewish grandparent, and this was part of the reason why he went on an anti-Semitic, Jewish-hating rampage. I'm not sure. I have to research that, but people say that's true. But I've noticed that the most hateful people and the most hateful situations in the world are often against people that are close. So, for example, Catholics and Protestants in Ireland are the same race, they're the same colour. They practice the same religion, they just practice a slightly varied version of the religion, but they hate it so much. They hate the other so much. Let's see if we can. My friend, have you got a bottle of water? Have you got a bottle of water?
Yep.
And can I pay on the card in here? That's all right. I'm in need. Is it okay to come in your shop like this? We're filming. Do you want something? Come on. Purdy's. Purdy's is a good drink. Yeah, I'm gonna. We might get a sponsorship deal. Sorry,
Go on,
bro.
pal.
Thank you, bud. Thank you.
That's all?
That's it, man. Thank you. Contact it. It's just on there. Does it do it? I have to put it in. Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I
Thank
get
you.
20 pounds shoes, please?
All right, we've got a drink now. The show can go on. How are we doing for internet connection? It hasn't cut out.
That's it. Oh, 2 people are watching.
And we're still live. Yeah, we're still rolling. Which way do you want to go?
That's 10.
Yeah, you're doing well, bro. You're doing well. So, yeah, the closer the two groups, it would seem, the more violent the hatred could be. Catholics and Protestants in Ireland, Hutus and Tutsis in Rwanda, same race, same religion, same colour. Probably couldn't tell them apart, but they started to believe that they were different, and they bought into that. I think it's a myth, but one massacred a million of the other. Well, let's talk about the history of this. They're saying that this is the biggest ever mass shooting. 49 people killed, plus the shooter himself. But people have got a short memory. There would have been massacres in the Civil War. There would have been much worse than this. Wounded Knee, I think, is one that springs to mind. But recently, Donald Trump, who's about to run for president, is running for president as a Republican, said that he wanted to control the amount of, or put a limit, put a stop to Muslims coming into the country. And on the other side, Hillary Clinton, who's pretty much won the nomination for the Democrats, she's all about gun control. So months before they go head to head in the election, there's a Muslim out of control with a gun who's killed 49 people. So both political sides are going to leap on this to make it suit their agenda. And Trump has already said, I told you this would happen. It's Muslim terrorism. I'm not convinced it was. And Hillary Clinton will use it to say, oh look, we need gun control now. And a lot of people, understandably, are saying mass shootings in America, stop the guns. But I think it's not as simple as that. And of course America has more mass shootings than most other countries, but America has a bigger population than most other countries. And when you break it down per head of the population, it is not as simple. But I will come back to that another time. But Donald Trump said, oh look, told you, we need to stop Muslims coming into the country. And a guy with a Muslim name has killed 49 people. I really, really don't think this was a Muslim attack. I really do not believe that he did it for Islamic State until I hear, if he did phone the police and say this is for Islamic State, let's hear it. Let's hear that phone call. And if not, then I've got no reason to believe it. I think he was a violent guy. He was mentally ill. He worked for G4S, not a very moral company, and he got his hands on a gun and killed 49 people. I think it's a myth. I think it's a lie. It's what?
You know who else was G4S?
Who else? Anyone who works for G4S must be an absolute terrible person.